Be careful.
We don't say be careful anymore. Instead say, what's your plan here?
Mommy is getting very frustrated and very upset just like you.
A behavior is right or it's wrong, regardless of what I feel. Welcome back to Psychobabble. I'm your anti-feminist psychiatrist, Hannah Spear, and today we're going to expose more bad therapy and the terrible narratives that contribute to our very poor mental health. Today I'm going to answer another question that I got from one of you. I was asked to give my take on gentle parenting, so that's what I'm going to attempt today. But as usual, please like and subscribe on your way in. I really need your help with that. And if you upgrade your membership to paid, there are some additional benefits to that you will discover in the email for paid members. I mean, in the 50s, no one was talking about styles of parenting. This first came into the picture in the 60s. There was a woman. I mean, first Dr. Spock, but please don't make me talk about him. That was first when people became aware that okay, there are techniques, and they started talking about parenting as a concept. And then there was a woman called Diana Baumrind. She termed the different four parenting styles, well, three, and then another one was added later. You have authoritarian parents are highly demanding and directive, and they expect compliance without much explanation or flexibility. And the discipline is very strict. They really make sure that their rules are enforced. Then you have authoritative parenting, where parents have clear expectations, but they're also respondent. So they're also responsive and nurturing. So you have high level of control, but also high level of warmth. And these parents are very willing to collaborate with the child and don't mind explaining, for example. They use natural consequences and guidance, but make sure that the boundaries are established. Then you have permissive parenting, where everything goes. These parents are highly responsive to the child's wishes and needs, and they place very few demands and expectations, few boundaries. Although here, I mean, which parent are going to say, oh, I don't put any boundaries on my kids? A lot of parents will fit into this permissive parenting, but not be the first one to admit it. This parenting style, permissive, was big then in the 60s and 70s, where the counter-cultural movement just protested the traditional hierarchical structure of the family. So Baumrind, she did some research on this, and she found that authoritative parenting consistently led to the most favorable outcomes, academically, socially, emotionally. And this was found again in 2005, published in Developmental Psychology. This confirmed that children of authoritative parents, they exhibit fewer behavioral problems and better emotional well-being. And this research from the Journal of Adolescence from 2011, it demonstrated that permissive parenting during adolescence causes more risky behaviors, and authoritative parenting correlates with better decision-making and emotional stability. So this we have been able to prove with longitudinal studies, and permissive parenting just simply, we don't have research supporting that this is a good parenting style. And then gentle parenting came with a woman called Sarah Ockwell Smith. That was in 2015, 2016. I mean, she herself doesn't admit that the gentle parenting is a form of permissive parenting, but I think if you read her, you have some idea of parenting, you will discover that it does firmly belong in that category. So she focuses on empathy, respect, understanding, and boundaries. She put boundaries in there, but when you go through it, you'll see that she doesn't really talk about consequences. So it's just, and that's very trendy nowadays. You're talking in all areas of mental health. You're talking about boundaries towards narcissism, boundaries in relationship, and that's all well and good. It's so easy to say, here's my line, and you just crossed it, but it requires strength and integrity, a power to actually be able to enforce those boundaries. So that's what's missing here. And you might think, yeah, no, gentle parenting, that's outdated. That's no one's talking about that anymore, but they are. Cleveland Clinic still has this as a recommendation, and I thought we would take a look at that together. The goal of gentle parenting is to raise confident, independent, and happy children through empathy, respect, and understanding, and setting healthy boundaries they don't. The parenting style focuses largely on age-appropriate development. It doesn't. Traditional parenting styles focus on punishment and reward. When your child does something good or shows good behavior, you reward them with fun activities, treats, and positive feedback. If your child does something bad, though, they might get put in timeout, for example, or you might spank them. I mean, who still does that? The idea is to be more like a coach for your kid rather than a punisher. Here's my first problem with gentle parenting. It comes from this uh, breaking hierarchies idea where you're the child's equal, and they say no, gentle parenting isn't about, it's a misconception in gentle parenting that the parent is your friend. Okay, fine, it doesn't state that you should be their friend, but by saying things like this, you're encouraging that it's a relationship between equals. So I think that is the main difference between gentle and permissive parenting and the authoritative parenting, where it's clear you are the authority, you decide how it goes, as opposed to the idea is to be more like a coach for your kid. For example, let's say you're getting ready to head out the door for work. You have to drop your child off at school and daycare on the way, but they're throwing a temper tantrum. Classic, we've all been there. You're worried you might be late to work and your patience is wearing thin. In this scenario, a traditional parenting style might inspire you to scold them. Stop acting childish and put on your shoes, you might yell. You're acting ridiculous and you're making me late for work. Wait until we get back home. Okay. Notice in this example that there's a lot of negative connotation happening. You're focused on your child's action and on the frustration it causes you. By yelling, you're instilling a sense of fear in your kid, and now you're both feeling anxious or angry. Your child's behavior may stop because they'll recognize you as an authority figure. Well, they should. However, their behavior is likely to happen again. No, I'm focused on us getting out the door. Kids don't always understand that what they're doing is wrong. They just stop their behavior because they're afraid. They don't really understand why they should stop that behavior unless you explain why. A gentle approach would be to stay calm and firm ahead of time before leaving the house, to set expectations. Instead of yelling or starting with a negative, you might take a pause and meet your child where they're at. I mean, I thought you were out of time. I thought you didn't have time. And you're going to pause and explain. And maybe you get down to eye level and say calmly, I'm going to drop you off at school and then I'm going to work. We need to leave on time. I expect you to be ready with your shoes on at the door when I'm ready to leave. If you're not ready, then we'll both be late, and I feel angry. If I get angry, you will lose privileges. Another approach would be to say, when you don't get ready on time, it hurts my feelings and makes me anxious. Why are you having a hard time? So you're already late and you're going to get down on eye level and say, why are you having a hard time? What? I mean, she's at daycare. So this kid is under 3 or 4 years old. And you're going to try to explain your feelings? A behavior is right or it's wrong, regardless of what I feel about it. These adults are projecting their own perceived complexity and uniqueness and preciousness onto their kids. There's a basic misunderstanding of kids involved in this type of parenting. Kids are not as smart as we are. Kids are not as complex as these adults are. They don't want to be our equals. And this Rousseauian idea that kids are born with only good impulses, they are like white sheets, like white snow, innocent, and their bad impulses are because of society that corrupts them. This is wrong. Kids are born with a proclivity for good and bad, and it's up to us to curb their bad impulses as much as we can, and anything else is a huge disservice.
Listen, I think that we need to take one deep breath and be all done yelling, because mommy is getting very frustrated and very upset just like you. And if mommy is frustrated and upset, then I can't do a good job calming you down. Me and Sunny have sat here and watched you dance for 2 hours, and we loved every minute of it. We had a fun time, and so did you. And next week, we will come back on the same day at the same time. And we are going to do this for an entire year. But if you keep continuing to act this way, Scotty, you will lose this privilege of dance. I understand that that is frustrating. I know that that is upsetting. But that doesn't mean you have to take off your tap shoes. That doesn't mean you have to stop dancing. We can go home and you can continue to dance in your tap shoes. We are just done dancing here. Come here.
And here you see that they're trying to explain to someone who's under 4 about someone else's feelings, when a child who's not yet 4 doesn't have this theory of mind where they're aware that someone else has a different perception than they do. So trying to put that on them is unfair. But no wonder, because parents who tend towards this, they live in a culture where individuality and feelings are key. That's the central idea. So of course they would lean towards a parenting style where they primarily want to foster empathy. And that comes again and again when you read about gentle parenting. It's about teaching empathy, approaching everything with understanding and patience. It's an overfocus also on feminine qualities, which also reflects the culture we have now, where feminine qualities are much appreciated and encouraged, and the masculine qualities of stoicism, strength in meeting adversity, and discipline, these are qualities that are okay maybe sometimes for some, but not what should govern something like a parenting style. So that's how these people think. So to expect this child that Dr. Estrella is talking about to understand your feelings, say, when you don't get ready on time, it hurts my feelings and it makes me anxious. What a self-centered, what a completely out of touch thing to say to a 2 or 3-year-old who's having a tantrum. There's something that's been getting a lot of attention lately, and that is the dramatic effect lifestyle and exercise have on our well-being and mental health. But the difficult thing is to stick with the routine. So what you need to do is to go and check out Pitch Fitness Center. It's a premium wellness gym, and it's gorgeous. It gives you that hotel spa feeling with every exercise, and their kids club is even open on Sunday. So head on over to pitch.ch, that's pitch.ch, and get a discount with our promo code Psychobabble Podcast today. See you there. So they are focusing on something that the child isn't capable of, while they are robbing them of the buffer between them and the outside world. That's the function of the parent. The world is a terrifying place, which is why the baseline of a child's emotion is anxiety. A kid isn't calm and always pleasant and always good. A child without its parent is anxious and stressed. And you see this in kids who are in daycare too much without their parents. Their cortisol levels are much higher than they should be. So the parent's role is to show the child, here is the boundary of your safe world within which you can unfold and play and explore. But I'm standing here and there's no way you're going to get to that unsafe area. But if that doesn't happen, if the child doesn't believe that they're not able to cross that boundary, if the child thinks, oh, you're just saying that, if the child is uncertain, it becomes stressed and anxious. And it also becomes very limited in their movements within this safe circle. So you see that children who feel emotionally secure and properly attached, they will play much more imaginatively, much more creatively than the kids who are insecure in their attachment and feel emotionally unsafe. Gordon Neufeld, he's so on point here. He says that we've lost the power to parent because we are so absent from our kids. The child spends so much time with other children and with other adults that they have lost that attachment. And with that, we have lost the power to parent because, as he says, a child who's properly attached is going to want to please you, is going to want that approval from you. So a child who's not attached is very difficult to parent. And he also says that when they don't feel secure, they're so stressed that they can't learn, they can't get new information because all they are focused on is fulfilling that basic need. And so gentle parenting has taken some good concepts, some great principles from Adler, from Rogers, the humanistic therapy. And Carl Rogers, he was the first one to discuss why it's so important to validate feelings and bring that into therapy. And these are very important concepts. But what they've done now with gentle parenting is to make that the main point, to make understanding, respect, and empathy the main point, and that with those things you can correct the child. So it borrows Adler's and Dreiker's ideas on positive parenting, which has shown good effect in kids, but that effect comes with the added parental authority. You won't see those positive effects if it weren't for parental authority in addition. So that fits, the positive parenting fits into an authoritative framework, not a permissive framework. But over focusing on, for example, social learning theory, which is that you imitate behaviors. And we imitate our parents' habits and mannerisms. And so they hear us saying please and thank you, please and thank you. They will also say please and thank you, for example, but that doesn't apply to empathy. And that's what they've misunderstood. You don't learn empathy from hearing your parents say that I validate your feelings. This makes me feel anxious. I'm sorry, that's child abuse. Empathy is developed through play. Empathy is developed through, if you play, you notice, what hurts, what doesn't. You notice other people's boundaries. And for a child to be able to play, as I just said, they need to feel emotionally secure and well attached. Kids also learn empathy mostly from their fathers. Fathers have a great role to play in developing empathy. And no wonder, because they supply the masculine traits of discipline, confidence, encouragement. Of course, it's possible that the mother can harbor these traits as well, but we're supposed to parent together. We're supposed to bring the feminine and the masculine in, no matter who does it. We're supposed to do that together. And this is why when so many kids are being raised without their fathers, or with fathers stripped of authority, or with the emphasis on the feminine traits, empathy doesn't develop that well. When they are providing this firm boundary between the child and the terrifying outside world, they also are supposed to make sure that that boundary slowly moves outward in a manner that is concordant with the child's development. And so the gentle parenting, so Sarah Ockwell Smith, she's saying that the gentle parenting is focused on aged appropriate development, but she clearly isn't, because she's expecting a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old to understand and care about what she feels. And here comes the other misconception about what empathy actually is. Empathy is a part of the personality trait agreeableness. So a large part of it is inherited. You have cognitive empathy and affective empathy. So cognitive empathy is what you'll teach someone if you have a person with Asperger disorder in therapy, but it's a very different thing to care about what other people feel. I mean, I'm sure that you've experienced going through an airport and you're tired and you're hungry and there are too many people there. And even if you are naturally a very compassionate person, you're going to use your elbows more than you usually would if you're feeling calm and satisfied and content. So I'm just trying to say that our emotional state of mind affects how we care about other people's feelings. And with children, when they are emotionally dysregulated, even if they understand mom's angry or mom's anxious, it doesn't mean they're going to care about it. So making kids securely attached, feeling emotionally safe, is absolutely key. And a parent who's gentle parenting, who's permissive parenting, they're missing that point. There's safety for the child in knowing that you have authority. It doesn't want to be your equal. And we see it again and again, how parents who don't have authority, they're exhausted. And here's a perfect example of that. I found a reel of people who've tried to gentle parent, they just can't. They just give up. In the end, they will completely spaz out. And this is such a good video.
No, no, no.
Please get out the cabinet. Get your motherfucking ass out the cabinet!
Put the purse back, honey.
Now threaten her and see what happens.
Put the purse back now!
That's not a good choice. Theo, make a good choice, please. Theo, get out. Theodore, get out of the bucket!
Kids are like dogs sometimes. I really do think, a 2-year-old child is not that different. Like, for example, you can't say to a child that they'll have a consequence 2 hours later. Like with a dog, it's not going to remember what it did. It's not going to have any effect. The consequence need to be dealt out immediately, strongly, and related to the action that you want corrected right away. It's not going to work, or you're not going to have TV for a week. My 5-year-old doesn't understand the difference between a day and a week. We just had a meltdown yesterday because I had to try to explain that no, it's 3 days to your party. And last time you asked, it was 2 weeks till your birthday party. And he didn't understand. And he thought I was lying to him because no, Mom, last week you said 2 and today you're saying 5. Yeah, it was 5. I said it was 5 days. And he didn't understand that 2 weeks was longer than 5 days. So he accused me of lying to him. The meltdown. And so kids are not as smart as we project onto them. And they just want things to be clear. I think the reason we're having so much trouble. We're seeing kids tantrum at an age where they shouldn't be tantruming. They're not listening. They're exhibiting narcissistic traits in adolescence. We have numbers on that now that we have higher levels of narcissism in teens. It comes from our overfocus on feminine characteristics without the counterbalance of the masculine. It's that we're parenting without the father, be he absent emotionally or physically. We're not letting fathers do what they instinctually want to do. I mean, I notice it. I can try and be as strict as I want. It doesn't matter. I can yell. I can time out. Doesn't matter. My husband clears his throat once and they are in bed 10 seconds flat. And I'm going to show you a really funny video here that shows exactly that. It's the difference between mom's voice and dad's voice. And I just think it's hilarious. You see the kid when the mom's talking and then the dad comes in and he says one thing and the kid just does it.
Get out of the fridge. Come on. Yes. Come on.
Get the fuck out of the freezer!
You have to sleep.
No, I want bed.
You're sick.
No, I'm not.
You're sick.
No.
Lay down, be quiet.
I mean, it is Freud's devouring mother. It's over focus on protection, on nurturing, on compassion, taken to a pathological level, which will happen if it's not counterbalanced by what men instinctively will do if you let them. And we know now that this type of parenting causes anxious kids, causes anxious teenagers. It's incredibly appealing to my generation, this emotional focus of gentle parenting. But there are huge empirical gaps. We're simply not finding, I mean, the research simply isn't supporting that this is a good parenting style. A study at McGill University said that the single most important childhood factor in developing empathy is paternal involvement in childcare. And then we really have to think, what does paternal involvement represent? It represents the masculine traits that need to counterbalance the feminine. So I really think that gentle parenting, it is the natural conclusion of preferring feminine qualities over masculine and not thinking of parenting as a balanced yin and yang between those two. And of course we had to, if we're going to go with the narrative that a single mother is just as good and you don't need a mother and a father. You don't need a man and a woman. You can be two women and that is just as good. And that parenting is about choosing the right style for your kid and that everyone's individual. Everyone is just super complex and precious and unique. And you just need to validate and understand feelings. Then empathy will grow. These are all misconceptions. You're cherry picking your psychological principles and just throwing out centuries of knowledge, of carefully evolved knowledge. And here I just had to include this video that I just found so funny. It's a sketch. So a woman, a 30-something-year-old mother, she's trying to teach her mother, so the grandmother, how to gentle parent, and it just shows it so well, the difference. So here we go.
Be careful. We don't say be careful anymore. Instead say, what's your plan here?
I don't even know my plan. Do you know your plan?
Don't stop. Hit your sister.
Don't say stop, say gentle.
Gentle what?
Gentle hands.
Gentle hands? What else is gentle?
Everything. Gentle everything.
I am so proud of you.
You're not supposed to tell kids you're proud of them anymore.
Why not?
Well, that's putting the focus on you.
What?
I'm so proud. Don't say that.
What should I say instead?
You should be so
I
proud.
am so
No,
proud.
it's back on you again.
Hurry up, we gotta go.
Don't rush. We're fine. Don't rush her. Fine.
I thought we were in a hurry.
If you rush children, it makes them anxious. No hurry. You always rushed us, and I'm anxious.
Never rushed you. We were always late.
Exactly. And I was anxious because we were always late.
What am I supposed to say then?
Gentle.
This way. Good job.
Good choice.
Thank you.
No, say good choice.
Watch out.
Do you feel safe here?
I don't feel safe.